And we are live. Welcome back to Sports Scrutiny, guys. I know we've been gone for a while, but me and Rob, we've been cooking a few things in the pot, and we bring you guys none other than England's Superman, Scott Butters. What's up, man? Welcome to Sports Scrutiny.
Thanks for having me, guys. Privileged to be on. Means a lot.
Well, yeah, man, we were super excited to get. We know we've interviewed some other fighters as well, but we were super excited to get some up and coming talent on our show, man. So we really do appreciate you coming through with us and spending a little bit with us. We got some great questions for you. Questions come from everywhere, man. So we just picked the best ones and ride with it.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. All right, Scott. So first of all, how did you get started in MMA?
Got into it for the fitness side of things, really. Never had no intentions of fighting. Was literally just fed up of spending most of my weekends and the odd evening in the pub doing nothing with my life. So my mate just said, should we try and get a bit fit? Let's go along. There's an MMA class just down the road from us. Went along, could tell from the first night that I just absolutely loved it. Started off just doing like 2 days a week. There was maybe 4 or 5 people there. I think there was only 2 people that were fighting. So we was all sort of in the same boat, just looking for fitness, looking to just have fun, really. That soon progressed 6 months into my training. My coach was like, look, you're showing some good promise. Would you be interested in fighting? To which I was like, nah, not really. It's not really my sort of thing. I'm happy to just keep pushing through and enjoying the fitness side of things. I think 2-3 weeks after that, I went to an event with the guys, and that's when my mind just changed. Like seeing them guys get in the cage and like that mad rush that they were all getting, coming out of the cage, win, lose or draw, they were just super pumped and just been real enjoying it. I think the next day at training, I was like, no, I've got to get in there. I've got to be doing this. So
Of course,
I think within a month of that, I had my first fight. The rules over here are a bit different to how you guys have it. Our amateur rules, I started off with like real low level amateur, so it was like no headshots to start with. So it's more a grappling match with like body strikes and things like that. Didn't go my way, lost, but had a real good time. Back to the gym and thought, yeah, it was good fun, but I couldn't use my game plan to my best of my ability. So I then stepped up a little bit, done strikes to the head standing but not on the ground. I had one fight at that, won that, and thought, right, here we go. This is it. This is what I'm meant to do. One more fight like that, and then just went full over here, the unified amateur rules. So it's full ground and pound, just no knees, no elbows. Went 5-0 at that rule set. Started fighting some higher level guys, looking to work my way up to titles and that. Lost the next couple, but still had mad love for it and really enjoying it. And then, it started going. I think I've done 3 fights in the space of 3 weekends, culminating in getting flown out to Jersey, which is like Channel Islands, to fight on a promotion called Rumble on the Rock. I was one of the only guys flown in that actually won. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I was just like, right, I'm going for the top spot. Got in contact with a promotion down in Kent, fought for their title, won that. So I'm the LFC Lion Fighting Championship amateur lightweight champion down there. Was all ready to defend that belt. 3 days out, just training, not doing much, just going through movements, and absolutely wrecked my knee, blew out my ACL, LCL, and posterolateral corner. So ended up having reconstructive surgery on that, which that was horrible because I was sat at home not being able to do anything. Like it was a struggle to walk, thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Getting fat. That was the worst part of it. So while I couldn't work on my MMA, I was joined up at our local ABA boxing club down here. Started working on that. I've never really been the most technical striker, so it made sense to work on that while I couldn't do the MMA. But then bust my nose, Through that, I got a septal hematoma, so both sides of my septum swelled up like I had half a grape up there.
Woo.
Had to spend 48 hours in hospital getting that drained, which weren't nice because I had like 4-inch plugs shoved up my nose to try and keep it solid.
Damn.
Yeah, having that pulled out of my nose afterwards was worse than being knocked out, and that was just horrible.
But it's all worth it though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would. I mean, it's made me the fighter I am today. Like without that happening, I wouldn't have been on the path that I'm on now. Like, I'm a great believer of everything happens for a reason. Someone out there has got a reason why you're doing this, and there's always a greater plan. So
Yeah, absolutely.
with that nose break, then had a pocket of fluid at the top of my nose, and the doctors advised me that I'd like have to give up fighting because if I got hit in the nose, that pocket could travel to my brain and expand on my brain. So like, yeah, that was, as far as I was aware, that was the end of me fighting. I was then looking at coaching and things like this. But 12 weeks after that, something didn't feel right. Felt like I constantly had a cold, so I went back to the hospital, shoved a camera up there, and it turns out I've got a big lump of cartilage at the top of my nose. So not only have I got cauliflower ear, now I've got cauliflower nose as well. But my first question was, so if it's solid, can it move anymore? And they're like, well, no, not really. I was like, so I can fight again? They were like, well, yeah, I suppose so. So I come out of the hospital, spoke to a promoter that I knew, and it was like, right, that's on. I got 12 weeks before your next show. I'm coming back. So I done one more unified amateurs fight, won that against a guy that was 6-1, just fought for their title. Won that dominant 3-round decision. As soon as I got home from there, I messaged the guy again because I knew that he also owned a fight management company called Almighty Fight Management. Said, look, are you guys interested in me? I love your show. I love what you do for all your fighters. Would you be interested in representing me? And they were like, yeah, definitely. They're like, when are you looking at fighting? And I said, well, my next step is I'm going to go pro. They're like, cool. When are you looking at? And I was like, as soon as possible. I know that Contenders, my local show in Norwich, they had a show in November the 4th. I was like, if you can get me on that, it's 2 months. I'm good to go. I'm going to ride this train of momentum that I got, and we'll just go for that. They were happy to have me on. I know the promoter from Norwich quite well. He's a good guy. Has some good guys on the show as well. All through camp, I was saying I'm a changed fighter. Like, people aren't going to recognize me when I go out there. I'm totally different because I've always been known for my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, my ground and pound. But obviously, while I've been away, I've just been working on my striking, my Thai boxing, and just evolving everything. I've done a couple of interviews with local newspapers and things like that. I said, this fight's going to be over first round. It's going to be a TKO stoppage. And true to my word, 10 seconds from the end of the round, ref jumped in, stopped it because of the elbows. Managed to use that tool nicely for my first time. So yeah, I was well chuffed.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So real quick, I got a question. So you say that you are predominantly in the past, you predominantly been a grappler, wrestler, jiu-jitsu, ground specialist. Someone that had, when you're training MMA, of course you're gonna have to train strikes, but it seemed like to me, since the ground game was your preference, that training striking was probably a little out of your element. How does it feel to have to train and evolve an element of the sport that you're not preferable of?
It's always a little bit harder because I think I'm always more critical of myself because I know that wasn't up to pace with my ground game. I'd always be more critical. I'd always be, not enough head movement. The jab wasn't coming out straight enough. This, that, and the other. So I was constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. And even in the last fight where I basically struck the whole fight and I won. I outstruck a striker and things like that. But after the fight, I still wasn't happy. I was like, yeah, I won, but I didn't do this. I didn't do that. My head was too stationary, things like this. So yeah, it's hard. I'm critical of myself, but it's always evolving. So I can't be too mad at myself.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you definitely got the win. But going into that particular fight, when you had your professional debut against Johan, when you got that call, there was a lot of nerves going into this. I mean, it's your professional debut, and you're going to get somebody who's been doing, who has more fights on their professional record than you do. What was the thoughts going through your head on that? Were you intimidated at all, or you were just like, let's do it?
No, not really. I mean, I always get nervous, but I try and use them nerves to my advantage. I never want to be complacent. I never want to look past someone. So them nerves sort of help keep you grounded and keep you where you need to be. But as long as I can always do me to the best of my ability, then there's no way I shouldn't win on any given night. I can beat anyone on any night. I'm confident in my ability. I knew that my striking was getting up there, so the plan was always to strike with him. But if for whatever reason my striking wasn't working, I knew that I could revert back to plan B and just finish it that way, because I've been training with high level wrestlers and grapplers since I've been training. So that was always going to be my strong point. But I just wanted to do without it, if you know what I mean. Show people that I'm more than just a wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Right. Go ahead, Rob. Were you saying something?
I was just saying that's right. It's always good to have more than one aspect to your game, because you never know what kind of game plan your opponent's doing. You don't know what they're doing in their training camp. So it's always good to have more than one thing.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at UFC 223 last night, how many pullouts in that last week? If you're training specifically for one guy, and that falls through, then you're sort of screwed, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly right.
Exactly, oh yeah. Right. And that was crazy. That was a crazy turn of events. We're gonna get to that too. I'm definitely gonna need your opinion, because the predominance around the drama, that's your division. Like, you fight in that same division. So, I mean, and that could potentially in the future, you could potentially be physically in that division. But real quick before you get there, a day in the life of training with Scott Butters. What is let us know what that is.
Well, at the minute, my job at the minute is I'm a scaffolder. I'm working like 10 to 12-hour days for that, having to leave my house at 4:30 in the morning. So I don't really get to do much cardio before that. I always get to do a little circuit that I do, 50 press-ups, 50 sit-ups, a lot of stretching just to keep myself loose, and finishing with plank. Off to work, which is always physical, being a scaffolder. From work, depending on what day it is, if it's a Monday, I've got 2 sessions Monday night. I've got boxing down at Deer and Boxing Club, followed by MMA with my strength coach and MMA coach, Max Bateman. Tuesdays, that's the day I have no training, so that's the cardio day. I'm going for runs and things like that. Wednesday is a jiu-jitsu day, so I'm always working on my no-gi with Professor Baruch Martin, who earlier this year was ranked number 5 in the light feather IBJJF rankings. So I'm in good hands there. Thursdays, I go Thai boxing with my striking coach, Mario Frazetta from Team Frazetta. And Fridays, I go boxing followed by jiu-jitsu as well. Saturdays, I'm working again, but I managed to shoot off from work at 1 o'clock, straight down to the gym, get an hour and a half training in, then back home with the family, usually watch a film, something like that. Sundays, I try and get some training in 7 till 9 on a Sunday morning. Straight from there, off to work again, work till 4, and then go and see the guys from Focus for Fitness in Norwich to get my sports massage, keep my body all supple and nice and ready for the next upcoming week. So it's a pretty busy, hectic life, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I get to do everything that I love.
Right.
Enjoy my job. Right. I get to punch people in the face, and I get to spend time with my family. What more could a guy want?
I know, yeah, man, exactly. That's definitely a long week. But one thing I noticed is people might be fooled if they look at your record, because they're going to see just 1 win, 0 losses. They're going to think, hey, this guy doesn't have much experience. But if you go back and look at your amateur record, it's a stacked record. So you have the experience. You're coming in with the experience when most don't usually come in with that much experience, which I found that to be quite intriguing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I was I was looking at going pro maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, just before the accident with my knee. So, but that still would have put me on like 12 fights. The thing with my amateur career is I would just take any fight, anytime. Like promoters would message me or my team and say, "Oh, do you want to fight?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I've got nothing to lose." It's all about experience in the amateur ranks. Like it's getting you ready for the pro scene. It is just like training really, which is why I would fight 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, so pretty much what we can come to the conclusion of is that Scott Butters is a very, very busy man.
Yeah,
um, so I got a question. What was your thoughts on all this chaos around UFC 223 with Connor and Tony and Khabib and all this mess going on? What did you think about that?
First thing that went into my head was just how gutted I felt for Khabib, because like I've been in the position where you've had opponents pull out, and the first thing that goes through your head is, oh, all this training for nothing. Then up jumps Super Max Holloway. It's like fair play. He's a legit legend. Like he's since losing to Conor, he's just been on a tear. So for that, I was probably more excited for that than I was Ferguson. But he had a big task ahead of him. I think it was like 31 pounds to drop in 6 days, which that weight cuts aren't good at the best of times, but that's something else. That is.
That's a task.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd rather fight Khabib than cut that weight, to be honest. But yes, and then obviously he didn't get cleared to fight. And then let's talk about Pettis, and yeah, that would have been a good fight, but it's not right what everyone's looking for. So then you're just like, right, this is all going downhill. And then you've got the whole Conor thing as well. Like he just hasn't done himself any favors, because there's reports that he was going to be at the event anyway, and something was going to get released about him fighting Dos Anjos for a welterweight strap, which could have made him like 3 weight champions. But that's sort of, I don't understand it with him. He's got so much potential. He's got so many people looking up to him, like especially the younger guys out there. Like even myself, I'm a very low level guy, but I've still got fans and people like that look up to me. So you've got to conduct yourself in a certain way, because the MMA scene gets enough negative press as it is, because people just see it as barbaric, 2 people getting in a cage trying to kill each other. So it's down to us to change that and show people that it is a sport and there is a lot of respect in there. But then when you got someone like Conor McGregor, who's got that much following, and there's just videos all over the internet of him chucking dollies at windows and railings and just absolutely going mad, it's like it's sort of reverted everything back to square one. But the people I feel the most sorry for are the innocent parties on the coach, because they're now out of fight. They've lost what money they could have earned that night, but then also potential earnings as well, because for all they know, they could have won a couple of fights and then that propelled them up the rankings, title shots or anything. So it is hard. Like Dana saying that, right, yeah, he's off the card, but then people are saying, well, he should be banned for life. If you look at Paul Daly threw one punch after the bell and was said, right, you're never going to fight in the UFC. Now, give the guy like a 6-month suspension for something like that, because heat of the moment, you're going to get angry, this and the other. Things can happen.
Right.
But he hasn't chucked anything at a bus and endangered people. Like Ray Borg got glass in his eye. Dude could possibly never see again. What's that all about? Like,
I mean, and the thing the thing that is, like, I mean, Connor can face serious charges. Like, yeah. I mean, he really, because if Chiesa, go ahead, Rob.
I think he's facing up to 3 different charges, actually, from what I read.
Yeah, I think it was 3 counts of assault and then like criminal some sort of criminal damage.
I think it was like environmental danger or something.
Yeah, criminal mischief is what they said to him. I mean, And
There's something I saw.
someone who has that much money and that much power and that much of a following. I mean, why would you want to do something so outrageous and outlandish? I just don't understand that, because I can tell you right now, if I had just made $100 million fighting the world's most popular boxer, I'm not going to be throwing dollies through windows, and I'm sure you wouldn't either.
Nah, not at all. Regardless of what anyone said to me or teammates, I'd be removing myself from that situation and just trying to talk it down and stop it from escalating. Because
Right,
there's obviously some
exactly.
bad blood,
That's exactly right.
between Habib and Artem, but you just need to try and get that squashed. And if it's that bad, settle it in the cage. That's what it's
Yeah.
there for.
And yeah, that's what Dana White was saying. He was saying, this is the one sport where you get to fight. You know,
Yeah,
so that was outlandish to see the actions of Connor. I thought more of Connor as an athlete. I knew he had a lot of outlandish kind of tactics and antics, but some of that is to help sell the shows. I didn't think he would actually do anything like that.
Yeah, you didn't
I
think
mean,
that
that
no.
he'd be
was
the type of person to do something without cameras on him. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Yes, I mean it's not like that.
he always wants to make a show. He wants to give himself that type of publicity. It's weird to see him do something without, you know, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't have the cameras on him. That's not selling something. It's bad for him. It was a
Yeah,
surprise
I
to me.
mean, you think of the fighters that are on them coaches. The first person that I always think of that's very active on social media is Felice Herrig. She's
Yeah.
constantly on Instagram,
Mhm.
and she was the main one who it popped up, and her comment was something like McGregor being naughty or something like that. So as soon as you mention the word McGregor, you know that people are just going to be looking, sharing, bang, and before you know it, it's blown up. It's gone
Oh
viral.
yeah. Within minutes.
Yeah,
Within
for
minutes.
real.
So what do you think about UFC 223 as a whole? Do you think that card, even though it was a cursed card, do you think it stacked up to, think it delivered well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Alaquinta is a hell of a fighter, and to take that fight on one day's notice and to go the full 5 rounds, hats off to the guy. Like people are saying, oh, if Khabib fights like that again against Ferguson or against McGregor, then they can beat him. And I think last night did show that Khabib is human. He isn't this superhuman guy that can't be beat, because there was a couple of times he tried taking Al down, and it wasn't happening. He wasn't having it all his own way. When he was on the
Yeah.
floor, yeah, he was doing a Khabib and he was mauling him, them shots, wrist wide, looking to take the back, looking for the submissions. But Khabib is something else. He's just constant pressure. He's the sort of guy that I want to be like.
Oh yeah,
That is a
absolutely.
bit more.
I was getting ready to say you have some of those same tendencies. You like to maul your opponents too, and I've noticed that from watching your fights. You're definitely a mauler as well. But when you're sitting back, Scott, and you're watching, these huge promotional events like Bellator and um, UFC in this lightweight division, how do you see yourself stacking up to that competition?
At the minute, I can see myself fitting in, especially if you look at some of like Fight Pass prelims and things like that. I can definitely hang with some of them guys in there, and I can beat a lot of them on a good day. I honestly believe that I can fit in nicely to the UFC. I fit in that 155 roster. I can hold my own, and I can also see me getting some performance of the night bonuses. So can't turn your nose up at 50 G's.
No, not at all. Not at all. Um, yeah, so I mean, let's fast forward 2 years from now, and or a year from now. You never know what it'll be. And let's say you've got five more fights under your record. I mean, on your professional record, all wins, of course. I mean, come on. If you got that call, let's say for uh, the Ultimate Fighter or for Tuesday Night Contender Series or like a short notice fight, what would you do it? Would you take that opportunity?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd be stupid not to, because if you look at the UK, the amount of guys that do get into the UFC is hard. The UK scene is getting a lot better, and we are getting more support. But it is still hard. So yeah, if the opportunity came up, I'd be all over it. I don't get ready, I stay ready. So things like short notice fights, that's fine.
That might be the best thing I ever heard from it. I don't
Yeah,
get
that's
ready, I stay ready.
I'm gonna have to use that quote. Absolutely. So, so let me ask you this. A lot of when we announced that we were going to be interviewing you, a lot of people here, of course, over in the States, they don't know who you are. Okay. So, but the thing is, when you have such a growing community, a growing sport, fan base and following for this sport, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be people that rise up out of the, rise up that we've never heard of. But the thing is, I've got my point is we got so much feedback from when we, announced that we were interviewing you. Lots of people are, hey man, I just looked this guy up. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, he's dangerous. He's a great jujitsu specialist. I mean, he throws strikes to get in. A lot of people are the feedback that we get about your footage is a lot of people are like the style that you fight because that style that you use is kind of like we're not seeing a whole lot of that anymore. Like it's starting that the strikers are starting to take over on in these big platforms, and they're pushing a lot of these grapplers out. But there's one thing you cannot disagree with, and is that a very good grappler is a very worthy opponent. And a lot of people, a lot of the casual fans don't realize what they're watching when they see someone relentlessly trying to take somebody down or takedown after takedown after takedown. They don't understand what that means. And someone being such a diehard person like us here, you know what I'm saying? We know what we're watching. You know what I'm saying? So when you go into a fight, does the style of the opponent that you're fighting, does that really phase you at all? Do you just stick to your game plan?
Yeah, I tend to just stick to my game plan. As I said, if I can do me to the best of my ability, then I'm confident. I try not to change game plan too much because again, if you get a pull out or whatever, my pro debut I had two guys pull out within the last 2 weeks. So the first guy, he was a lot taller, a bit better, a bit better on the floor. So you can't try and change things about too much. As soon as you try and change things as well, you're always going to neglect one thing. So that's why I'm constantly working on everything, trying to bring everything up to the same level. Just prepare the best version of Scott Butters that I can, and just go out there. For me, I like the crowd to have a good time. As long as the crowd enjoy the fight, then I'm happy. Which in some of my older fights, that was probably my downfall because I wouldn't do me. I wouldn't do the grinding him down, the pinning him down. I'd be looking to do something a little bit more exciting, which sometimes cost me the fight, cost me a decision, and things like that. Now I feel that now my striking's picked up, I can offer that excitement, but still do me as well. Because as you said, for the casual fans that just see two guys leaning on each other against the cage, they don't understand how much that's taken out of you, how tiring that is, and all them little knees to the thighs and the foot stomps and things like that. They don't realize that they're accumulating. Before you know it, your legs are heavy as hell. And it's hard just to pick your leg up to throw a kick, which is why a lot of my fight, I don't throw that many kicks. If I do, they're just going to be them little inside kicks like my pro debut. It knocks them off balance, and then it sets them up perfectly for that right uppercut.
Yeah, you use that and you execute that very well. Notice that a lot. That's and you use that tactic very well, and you get them down, and then you beat the crap out of them. So Scott, when's your next fight?
April 28th. We're just inside 3 weeks now, so training's been going real good. I'm probably feeling stronger and fitter than I have for any fights before. Fitness has always been my main thing. Being a wrestler and grappler, I need to grind people down, and if I've got to grind them for 5 rounds, I've got to have that gas tank. So constantly working on that. Constantly, when I'm in the gym and I'm doing rounds, there's no breaks in between for me. If we're going from man to man to man, then in that 30-second break, I'm doing squats, I'm doing sit-ups, I'm doing press-ups, I'm doing something, because just to keep that heart rate, keep that intensity up, and just keep going. This fight, April 28th, Contenders 23. The poster for it is me sat up top of the cage, literally drawing my hand across, and that will be seen again that night. I will be on the cage, pointing to the crowd, giving it that sign. That is my thank you to the crowd for being there, for the support.
Yes,
Man, I'm
sir.
telling you, if I was anywhere in the vicinity, man, I would be there. Most definitely be there to watch you fight. Um, so you're 3 weeks out. So you're getting ready to start getting your mind wrapped around the fight. You're getting ready to start cutting weight if you have to cut any weight. That was my actually going to be my next question. What do you like? How much weight do you typically have to cut before a fight?
Not a great deal. I think at the minute I'm sitting at like 73.8 kilos. So I've got like 3.5 kilo to lose. A lot of mine is just done through diet. I've never been a fan of saunas and sweatsuits and things like that. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good for the body. Like, your body's 70, 80% water. A lot of that's around your brain. Why would you want to take that away? And I want me to have the best possible chance. So if I can do it through diet and just hard work, then it means more to me as well, because I've got such a hell of a sweet tooth. So if I can forget all that food for like 8 weeks, it means more to me that way.
A natural build, right?
Yes, definitely. I'm never gonna be the biggest 155er, but I'm solid. I haven't got to worry about cutting all this weight and are the abs there, this and the other. I'm just solid 155 and I'm there.
Well, when you have people like, Khabib and Max Holloway and when Conor was fighting at 145, these people, and like Chris Cyborg as well in DC, when you have these people that have to cut this tremendous amount of weight, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you think that affects their bodies and for their performance?
Oh, majorly. I mean, the first thing you've got to think is you're taking all that water away from around the brain. They're not going to be thinking right. And no matter how much you rehydrate, you're still not going to get back to 100%, which is why back in the day they were using IVs and things like that. But that can't be good for you either. Like, I honestly believe there should be a thing where you've got to stay within a certain percentage of your body weight. And like USADA, the random testing, they should do that all throughout the year. Come in and test your weight, see where you are. And if you're out of that percentage 3 times, then you've got to go up a weight class. Because at the end, there's been too many people dying from dodgy weight cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, more negative press for the sport.
Yeah.
It's even the same thing in high school. You hear about that stuff for like wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, college wrestlers and that. Nah.
Yeah, I actually went to school when I was in high school. We had a big 260-pound lineman he was a wrestler as well, and he had to cut a tremendous amount of weight to wrestle. And to see how he looked, the day of the wrestling match, it was awful. It was terrible. And that's like my only experience of, seeing someone weight cutting. But and you can see these people on like embedded like Khabib, and you can tell Khabib's been cutting weight because he looks depleted. You know what I'm saying?
The face is all drawn.
Oh yeah.
Everything. Yeah, your abs may look good because they're all tight and shredded and that, but as soon as you drink water, it's just gonna go again. Who cares?
Rather be healthy than look good.
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Definitely.
Rather be healthy
It's
than
what it's
look
all
good.
about. If you're not healthy, you ain't going to get to go again.
Right. So Scott, talk to us about the guy you're fighting on the 28th.
Yeah.
The guy I'm fighting, Jonathan Templier, he's from France, so he's getting flown in. Unfortunately for him, he's getting thrown in to get another beatdown. He's got a lot more
That's what I like to
experience
hear.
than me, but it's only experience in the pro ranks. If you put all the fights together, then I've probably got 2, maybe 3 times as many fights as him. He's a lot taller than my last opponent, a lot taller than me. So my striking is going to have to be to get on the inside this time.
Yes.
Use the shots, get inside, attack the body, and just this time is gonna. I want to show that my grappling is now even better than what it was before. So it's going to be getting on the inside. It's going to be using the strikes, but then it's just going to be ragging him about, taking him down. If he gets up, he's going down again. Using the pro tools more than I did last time. So although I used the elbows on the ground last time, this time we've been working on elbows to strike as well. So it's going to be a bit flashier. There's going to be spinning elbows. There's going to be jumping knees.
He's a crowd pleaser, guys. He's a crowd pleaser.
Definitely. It's just going to be a long night for Jonathan.
Well, I'm definitely going to be watching, so I will definitely be tuned into that. I got to catch that. All right, couple questions, man. A couple more questions. We ain't gonna hold you for too long. Who's your favorite UFC fighter?
Habib. It's got to be Habib. Has been for a long time. On my staircase, as I'm coming down my stairs, I've got a few bits and pieces on there. I got one is a canvas of my last fight with me on top of the cage. I've got a signed Pat Karan glove from Bellator. But in the middle, I've got a signed Habib picture as well. So every time I come down my stairs, wake up in the morning, I look up, I see those sort of things. Just gives me that little bit extra drive to one day I'll be having a signed UFC picture with my picture on it, me signing it.
Well, we're definitely gonna be watching you, man. You know, you've definitely from watching your footages, man. You're definitely a finisher. I like that. You're a grindy, grinding type of fighter. You like to make it dirty. You like to hurt your opponents. I know that for one thing. And you like to finish them. You like the submission, and I like that, man. You know, submission fighters are some of my favorite fighters in the MMA world. And it's good to see a good strong jujitsu practitioner come in into the MMA world, and it's good to start seeing a lot more submissions again, because lately we've been seeing a lot of knockouts, a lot of decisions, a lot of knockouts. It's good to see some good submissions and some good grappling and some good clinch work in the MMA world, most definitely. We
I mean,
that.
Everyone loves to see a knockout. That's why we're seeing more and more strikers now. Everyone loves to see a knockout, and everyone's chasing that knockout of the night, and they think that to get a performance of the night, you've got to be striking. That isn't true. I mean, you can get a performance of the night just as easy by absolutely mauling someone and just showing the groundwork is as good, if not better, than striking.
Yeah,
I've always been 100% a fan of people that can stay the same throughout the entire fight. They don't burn themselves too early. They don't start too slow. They just keep a consistent game plan all the way through, and they stick to that. And if they have to adapt a little bit, they change and tweak a little bit of the fight each round. But, someone like you that has the same stamina, they say the same toughness all the way through, it's always the fighter I've been a fan of.
Yeah, there's no let up for your opponent that way. They're not going to get no easy part of the fight. Like a lot of people, if they start slow, then you're maybe giving the first round to your opponent. So you've just got to give it all from that first bell.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Cody or TJ?
That's a hard one. I do like Cody, and I think I'm going to go with Cody. Just that first round, if that was a few seconds longer, I think Cody would have had it.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, it's going to be a hell of a match. either way, hell of a fight.
Okay. DC or Stipe?
I've got to go for the baddest man, Stipe.
I mean, I like I said, man. If you go back and watch the episodes, our earlier episodes, you're gonna hear me and Rob go back and forth over and over and over about the DC John Jones thing. You're gonna hear it multiple times, and I'm a huge, huge DC fan. And if you go back and watch DC back in Strike Force days, and if you watch him fight a heavyweight, he's a legit heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's a legit, but you know what gets me is the way Stipe just massacred Francis Ngannou after what Francis done to Alistair Overeem. I mean, it makes Stipe a whole different caliber of a beast. DC's a beast, but Stipe's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm leaning a little bit more towards Stipe myself, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I agree. Stipe is the kind of guy that I was just describing. He can stay consistent throughout the whole fight, and he's real technical. Like, I think he adapts better than the majority of the fighters out there. He sees what you're doing, and round 2 he's on it, and he can stick to that game plan 3, 4, and 5 all the way through, and I love that about him.
Definitely.
So and one last question about the fighters: who's gonna beat Cyborg? Who's gonna be the girl to do it?
Oh, I don't know if there is anyone that can do it. She's at the minute.
That's exactly what I tell them.
She looks unreal. She looks untouchable almost.
That's what I keep telling her.
What do you feel? How do you feel about me? How do you feel about Megan Anderson?
Again, I'm not sure, to be honest. It's hard. It really is. I'm gonna have to leave that one and give you an answer after my fight. I'll come back and give you an answer then.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah. Well, man, that's Scott, man. That's all I got for you, man. That's all we got.
Thank you.
We appreciate you
very
coming
much
on.
for having me.
We really do.
No, thank you. Like, for you guys giving us this platform to showcase ourselves and just get our story out there. That means a lot. It means a lot, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. And for you, taking the time, I mean, especially after the week that you just walked us through about what you do on a weekly basis, for you to take the time out of your schedule and come and sit down and talk with us, man, it's been a real pleasure. And we hope, to get you back on the show. I'm gonna contact you after this. We're gonna send you some memorabilia. My mom and my sister are just on me, like, you need to send these people that you're interviewing this stuff, so we're going to send you a t-shirt and all this kind of stuff with our logo on it. I'll get with you on that, most definitely. But yeah, man, we would love to have you back on the show. Absolutely.
For sure. After that victory.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure.
Well, guys,
just want to say a few thank yous to guys out there, to my sponsors. I got my main sponsor, UFO, which is Ultimate Fight Outlet. They helped me with all my kit. They've been with me since day one, like from very early in my amateur career. They've always been there, always supported me. I've got a company called Man the Fuck Up. They got shorts, hats, everything. It just gives that little bit of extra motivation in the morning. You turn around, you put that hat on, you've got to go hard. Wyndham Scaffolding. He's a guy I've known for a long time. He's always supported me. He's always coming to my fights, and he's helping me out any way he can. I've got NutriBox meals. They're a company from over here down Essex way. They deal with all my food. Obviously, that week that I haven't got time to be prepping all my food and everything.
Right.
I give them a list of what I want. They make it up. It all gets delivered to me twice weekly, and that's me sorted for the week. Max Bateman, my MMA coach, but also my strength coach, he's puts a lot of time into me, my strength and conditioning, and just making sure that engine's running right. I need it for that grinding style. I've got Exceed Your Limit. They do all my supplements and that. without the supplements keeping me on point, keeping my protein up and everything, life's just going to be a lot harder. And I got focus for fitness, doing my massage, because not only am I training all the time, I'm scaffolding, so it's just constantly wearing my body down. Studio Martial Arts and Fitness Center in Durham, where I do a lot of my MMA. I get all my training there for free, so a big thank you to them, because everyone knows at the low level part of your career, it's expensive. We're not earning a lot, so anything that's a little bit easier for me is a lot better. And then I got the barbers. They're the only people that I'll let touch this beard, because I don't just anyone. So big shout to the barbers of Durham. Then I've got my two teams, Team Fusetta, my Thai boxing, and BNB Jiu-Jitsu. If anyone's ever in Norwich and fancies having a little roll, be it gi or no gi, head down to BNB. But I warn you, it won't be easy. Rolling with legit beasts down there. And then my management, Almighty Fight Management, they're the guys working hard behind the scenes to get me the fights. But the person I need to thank the most is my partner, Danny Folan, because without her, I wouldn't be able to train. We got 2 kids at home, so while I'm out working, then training, she's the one working behind the scenes, looking after the kids, making sure everything's running right at home. So without her, I wouldn't be able to do half of what I do. And then the same goes for my supporters and all my fans. Without the fans, there's no crowd. Without the crowd, there's no show. So a big thank you to all you guys. You give us us fighters the platform to perform. So yeah, big thank you. # believe in the beard.
You better believe it, man. I'm with you, man. You better. And just to close the show right quick, Scott, who is the dumbest UFC fighter? Is it Conor McGregor or is it John Jones?
That's a tight one, to be honest. I think it all depends what day of the week it is.
They split it half and half.
Depends if they're on foot or if they're driving. If they're driving, it's got to be John Jones. If they're on foot, it's McGregor.
That's correct. That's a good.
Well, guys, hit the like button, like and share. Go follow Scott Butters on Facebook. Go follow him on Twitter, guys. He's very, very active. He posts a lot, keeps us informed about his next fights. We're definitely going to be keeping you guys up on. We're definitely be keeping you guys up on what he's doing, and hopefully we hope to see him back on our show, guys. Hey, Scott, once again, man, we really appreciate you coming out to Sports Scrutiny, and I'll get with you about sending that stuff out to you. And just know, man, if you ever got anything you want to get off your chest, feel free to come on Sports Scrutiny and talk about it, because we will let you.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Take it easy, guys.